A little over a year ago, I strove to beat Dishonored without any stealth. It was fun, but boy, I left quite a trail of bodies. Now that it's time to venture into Dishonored 2, perhaps it'd be nice not to decimate an entire nation, perhaps. But just because I don't want to murder anyone doesn't mean I have to be quiet, right? That's where today's challenge comes in. Can you beat Dishonored 2 without stealth and without killing anyone? This means not trying to sneak past anyone. Well, of course, I can still crouch to get past obstacles, and it also means I end this game with 0 deaths on my conscience. Except, probably a lot of my own deaths. If anyone should meet with an unfortunate ending despite my best attempts otherwise, it's back to the last save I go. I can use any method to win as long as it's not stealthy or lethal. So let's choose the very hard difficulty, warn you about all the spoilers to come, and go beat Dishonored 2 while sending nearly everyone I meet into nap time. We start our story with an attack. Empress Emily and her royal protector and father, Corvo, are attacked in court by the worst of the worst. That's right. Family, visiting without calling ahead. Aunt Delilah here wants to ease the burden of leadership off of Emily. It's very sweet, but Emily and Corvo aren't having it. When they go back to back, I'm given the choice of who to play, and I'm happy to see, despite the tense standoff, the attackers patiently wait for me to make a decision. Finally choosing Emily, Corvo's petrified by my choice and decides to be stone-faced about it for the rest of the game. What a whiner. Emily is spared and locked away without supervision so that I can escape with ease. I wonder, how's the fall damage in this game? Accurate, I see. I fiddle around in the room for a bit, read some papers, and just pass the time before I finally get bored enough to escape. I quickly discover my captain of the guard bleeding out, and well, I got here as soon as I could, I promise. Leaving her, I get into my first fight where proper parrying lets me choke out the guard into sleepy time. Wait, just give me a second. Very rude of them not to wait for me to finish choking out their friends before attacking, especially since they easily could end up killing their buddies, which somehow I'm blamed for if that happens. Seems a tad unfair, but I guess it's like Dad always said. No buts about it, shenanigoon. You and you alone are responsible for the safety of your human shield. If that wasn't bad enough, trying to take down the traitorous city watch captain goes less than splendid, as I'm A, really bad at parrying attacks at this early point, and B, trying to knock these guys out isn't easy while getting stabbed a bunch at the same time. I finally find that sliding to the officer and then throwing and kicking the old guy while he's down not only effectively knocks him out, but for some reason sets his two friends fleeing back into their default position, and they seem extremely surprised to see me when I re-enter the room 5 seconds later. Gotta love guards with horrendous short-term memory. After they sleep, I try to get Corvo free, but he's really not having it. Counting only on myself, I make sure the guard captain is given a very uncomfortable sleep, and then take off out of the castle, only to immediately face off with a group of guards that no matter how many times I try, I can't seem to get anywhere with. Trying to knock out any always leads to my death before I can fully succeed in it. These guards just have no manners and don't have the basic decency to let me finish with one before moving on to the next. After so many deaths, I finally realized an obvious fact. Sprinting past every enemy is not stealthy nor lethal. So that's exactly what I do. And while my first escape attempt goes less than well, my second works and I'm home free. I meet up with Megan Foster, who gets me out of the city and onwards to eliminating Delilah's people while making friends of our own along the way. Hey, look, there's a friend now. Sure, he's a bit edgy, and you can literally see his aroma for how stinky he is, but he makes really cool tattoos, and just as important, is not trying to kill me. And yeah, that's basically how low my bar is for new friendships. Plus, he's given me super cool powers, but also my dead mother's heart. So it's making me very confused on how to feel. But I'll take it. Waking up, I immediately get to work by knocking out my only other friend and eating all the food I can find. Probably not a good first impression. I continue to make bad impressions when I get to land and immediately shove an innocent off the pier to his death. Somehow that counts as a kill by me, so I'm forced to restart the entire level when it turns out the game decided to autosave right after I pushed him. Frickin' karma always gets me in trouble. That probably says something, but I'm not going to think too much about it. The path towards my objective is swarming with guards, and while I try numerous tactics from throwing my full weight on them WWE style, using stun mines, and just trying a lot of hit and runs, all I gained from these attempts was more deaths to count. My experimentation at least let me learn that sprinting and then sliding into a knockout is one of the most effective ways to knock out my enemies and would be my go-to move from then on. but it's not enough to stop blades and bullets from ending my attempts. I had a plan on how I'd win in future engagements once I've upgraded, but I couldn't ever get there if I couldn't beat this area, which is proving to be nigh impossible. Only after ransacking a nearby apartment did hope spring forth. I found a bunch of chloroform bottles. Intending to use them, I ran to get the enemy's attention, but actually succeeded at knocking a bunch out with my slide knockout. Only when the numbers began to become too much, I fled to where I left the bottle, and with one good chuck, I continued fleeing before I could see if it worked. But coming back with another bottle, I'm surprised to find everyone sleeping soundly, and according to the stats that I check religiously, no one's dead. Yay! I still die a moment later, but now we're getting somewhere, especially since now I have the domino power, which makes it so whatever happens to one affected by the power happens to the others also affected by the power. This means I get two enemies knocked out for the price of one sleep dart. I'm prepared to fight the last guy, but he decides to take care of himself for me. And thankfully, that doesn't count as a kill by the game standards, so on I go. Not off to knock out more guards, but to track down charms and runes to improve my abilities with. This game would probably be way shorter if I didn't insist on collecting every charm and rune possible, but I'll need every bit of help if I'm going to win this without bloodshed. Thankfully, my new acquired domino power makes it much simpler to take down the guards blocking my way out of this level, but I probably look ridiculous flashing my blade so much as I desperately tap the knockout button before my enemies can stand back up. Ridiculous or not, I come out victorious with that power and the use of stun mines. Barely victorious, but victorious nonetheless. I'm heading off to a creepy hospital on a lone island covered in guards and supposedly a serial killer as well. Why can't I ever go anywhere nice? Oh, right. Probably because me being there always ends up making it not so nice anymore. Using my domino power and lots of slide attacks, the fighting works out in my favor. Sooner or later it works out anyways. But unfortunately, after half an hour, somehow one of the enemies managed to get himself killed. I'm really not sure how. All I know though is my autosave is set after his death. So once again, I had to restart the entire level. Very, very inconsiderate of that random guard to die on me. Going back through again, things go much better, especially when I get to raid the kitchen for tons of food to gorge on and heal off. I'm here to do two things. Find Hypatia, a doctor here who should know where Anton, my friend who I'm looking for, is, and also track down the serial killer who works for Delilah. Thing is, earlier I saw in a vision that the serial killer is likely a woman, and Hypatia here is experiencing a lot of memory loss and is hearing voices. So I think we all know who the killer is. Well, either that, or I'm about to chuck a bottle of chloroform at a poor, overworked, innocent woman who's just going through some tough stuff. But heck, that's why saving first exists. Time to find out if I'm right or just evil. Probably both. Oh my god, no. Bad evil cannibal woman. Stop trying to eat me. Well, frick. On one hand, I was right. On the other hand, ouch. Not learning my lesson, I try again, and just like before, it goes poorly. Since I can't seem to knock her out, time to pretend I didn't just ambush her twice and go around investigating who the killer is, like I don't know. At least the investigation's easy when I've already knocked out nearly every single guard in the building by now. And through the power of science, I sprint back with a cure. I worry I came in too stealth-like though, and so restart from the last checkpoint so that I can sprint straight at her, and that goes just as easy, but that's on her for not reacting faster. With her cured, I watch her do a pretty good imitation of me when I have to be healthy and actually sleep. It's tough, I know. It doesn't take me long to break into the home of my next target, the super genius Jin Dosh, who's holding Anton, the guy I've been seeking, captive. It helps that it is a roller coaster that leads right to his home. Both fun and practical. Truly a genius he is. Inside, I have to deal with clockwork soldiers, but these menacing opponents are actually a fun chance to let loose, since they're not alive and don't count against the challenge upon being destroyed. Helps that they have very easy to destroy arms that cause self-destruction upon losing. That's quite a glaring weakness for a super genius to make, but I, for one, appreciate it. At this point, my domino and slide knockout were working wonders for me, and I had less restraint than I probably should when I even use it on random civilians I find. But hey, at least I have the decency to leave them on a comfortable couch. Though, I did have to check my stats to make sure this lady hadn't died. She's gonna have quite the crick in her neck when she wakes up for sure. As I'm carrying Anton's unconscious body out of there, we're ambushed by more guards, but a well-placed stun mine should handle them. I mean, it would if they knew how to leave the elevator, but that seems beyond them. But hey, don't mock them. Their stupidity is actually very much working in their favor. When I finally do get them out of there, I probably shouldn't mock their shooting, but I just can't resist. With them dealt with, I try and set Anton down so I can nibble on some food, but it doesn't go as planned. Good thing he just got tortured, right? If he asks, I can blame the bruises on that, not myself. After securing him, it's not hard to take down Jindosh's robots with some grenades and then easily knock him out after. I know killing is evil and leads to the worst path, but frying his brain till he's barely coherent, that's not exactly a good path either, I would think. Well, he's probably smarter than me and it works for me, so with that moral problem out of the way, on I go to the next one. Now it's time to deal with a whole coven of witches, and while it's easy to get past the guards, it's probably not good that I also knock out every civilian I see along the way. Hopefully, when it comes out the masked stranger attacking everyone is actually their empress, they'll be understanding. But heck, if not, I can always introduce their face to the concrete again. Like the large group of guards blocking my way to the witches, a bunch of stun mines makes quick work of them, but sadly, a random, singular blood fly chooses to chow down on one of the unconscious guards, killing him. The game blames me for this, which I'd happily object to in court, but this game doesn't follow due process, and so I'm forced to drown myself so I can restart from the last checkpoint. Probably should have loaded the last autosave instead of such a drastic measure, but I forgot. Sorry, Emily. On the bright side, I crafted my very own charm that makes it so that when I eat food, I gain a large deal of health back, meaning I can save all my health potions for actual combat. It also means this rotten fig really hits the spot and cures these bullet holes like no other. The witches are a bit more annoying than the guards since they love to teleport, but chloroform is a great equalizer, making short work of them. Sleep darts are also a big help, but I'm happy I can also continuously count on my domino slide knockout technique. Beating the head witch goes surprisingly easy when running around with my chloroform bottle. I come across some angry demon dogs and chuck it at them. Demon dogs don't seem to care about that, but I can send them off with my sword since they don't count as kills. And when I go into the room they were, I'm surprised to find the head witch unconscious from my chloroform throw. I wasn't expecting that, but it works for me. I strip her of her powers, take off, get ambushed and killed by a random patrol, come back to knock them out, and then head home. At this point, I feel pretty confident about my ability to take out my enemies, but it doesn't stop them from either A, killing me badly, or B, dying somehow in some random way, forcing me back even when I survive. At least while fighting against the Howler gang, I managed to create quite a pile of people, all having a big slumber party, because they can't seem to get how easy it is for me to knock them out from an elevated position. And the same goes for the religious overseer nuts, where I go overboard on sleep darts and stun mines. But at least none are dead. This man is inside a door, but he's not dead, so it's fine. His life will probably be dramatically different now, but that's his problem. My hands are clean. Combat has become almost too easy, I admit by now, because I built a few more custom charms that improve my stun mines, make it so I basically never run out of sleep darts that instantly knock anyone out, and massively improved my mana potions so I always have plenty of domino usage. I might have made myself a tad too powerful, but honestly, I needed this after so many deaths earlier. With both the Howler gang and the Overseers sleeping soundly, I tracked down a man named Stilton who has completely lost his mind. My emo friend shows up again and gives me the temporary ability to go back and forth through time, which I happily use to help Stilton keep his sanity by doing what any good friend would and knocking him out in the past. And for good measure, knocking out every single harmless civilian I saw along the way, too. I'm definitely going to be facing a whole lot of lawsuits when everyone realizes who's behind the mask. At least being in the past lets me know that Delilah has immortality because she pulled a Voldemort and put her life essence into a statue of herself. Why not put it into something incredibly hard to find, like a piece of sand or something? No one would be able to find that, I think. Oh well, it works for me since it's pretty easy to track her immortality given statue to the exact same place that the next target hangs out. Breaking into the home of the corrupt Duke, I find it quite simple to defeat him and his guards. But in my haste, I keep finding myself dying to this electric trap. But at least I've improved my running speed through another charm, making it so instead of engaging in lowly combat, I just show how I am speed incarnate by running around this kitchen table as two foolish guards try and stop me. Foolish mortals. And I'm dead. Well, alright. Fair, fair. When that's done with, I got stuck spasming into a wall for quite a bit. Not a pleasant experience, I can assure you, and only reloading was I able to escape that hell. I then got Delilah's spirit and became lost for the next 50 minutes, running around the house, knocking out any random soul I saw, civilian or guard. When I finally found the Duke a second time, I had to decide if this one was the body double or the real Duke. I'm a master of deduction, so I of course guessed horribly wrong and became stuck. You see, I had to look it up, but it seems the only non lethal approach here was getting the body double to switch sides. But I had just knocked out both the Duke and the body double. This meant my only path left was the lethal one. My insane need to knock out everyone I meet has finally backfired. Resigned to restarting the mission after being stuck here for nearly 2 hours, I realized I had a save set shortly before meeting the body double. This allowed me to take the non lethal route, have the real Duke imprisoned in an insane asylum, and run off for the final mission. It was time to take on Delilah. First, I set about purchasing all I could from the black market dealer, made a loud proclamation to the city, and laughed as every witch around ran right into my stun mine traps. I had a few problems along the way when I bit off more than I could chew, but honestly, at this point, my strategy had been pretty well refined to handle the hordes of witches. And by that, I mean a near infinite amount of sleep darts really does fix a lot of problems. But what was really irksome? After everyone in the castle was sleeping soundly and every other rune and charm had been collected, what did I stumble across as the very last charm? This charm that makes it so I can chokehold enemies asleep a bit faster. When I first started this game, I did research on the charms to know which to hope for, and I was after this one more than any other. But of course, with my luck, it was literally the last one in the game. Yep, that sounds about right. Grumbling to myself, I head off to confront Delilah and take back my crown. Only problem is Delilah's still immortal, and I don't know how to change that, so I'm quick to meet death. Coming back, I choose to race past her to see if I can figure it out in the rooms behind her. The obvious finally hits though, and when I come back, I awkwardly find her just staring at me. No, I was not about to throw this bottle at your head thinking that would solve the problem. But since we're both right here, maybe take back your heart. That works, and Delilah heads into a painting for our final fight. She sort of lost me with that move, but okay. Guess that's magic for you. Thing is, I realize here I had no idea how to non-lethally beat her up. I was just intending to choke her out. But according to my objective list, I needed to find another way. So after lots of wandering, I figured it out. I decorate a little skull to be nice and pretty, set it on her throne, and go to fight her. Despite never playing the game before, I learned years ago where Delilah is really hiding in this boss fight. But that doesn't stop me from being very confused on how to get there. I get a ton of her replicas to chase me by accident, but finally climb up to her position and give her neck a hug till she goes sleepy. She then gets trapped in the painting forever, which is, yes, the non-lethal option, and there we go. Huzzah! I've beaten all of Dishonored 2 without stealth or killing. The land is saved, and for once, the game helps me out with my statistics. According to it, it took me 17 hours, 30 minutes, with a total of 146 deaths, while I sent 260 souls off to nap time. Thank you all for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed it. This is the part where I ask you to like, comment, maybe even subscribe if you really enjoyed it, as that helps a lot. It really always feels awkward to ask though, I admit. And if you haven't heard, I've started a Patreon to help my work since I put so much into all this. No pressure though. I do want to thank my patrons as every little bit helps and it makes such a big difference, so thank you again. Now go off and maybe get a little restful sleep of your own, friend. I'll see you later.